All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn, home of the DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn podcast. Yes, we are at Dollar Tree, a.k.a. $1.25 Bush. No, I did not bring you a video in March, but, you know, let's be honest. It was kind of a shit show in March. I think the only thing that was kind of exciting maybe was Satanic Panic, and that wasn't even Satanic Panic. It was called Panic for some dumb reason. And to be honest with you, I didn't even find that. So really kind of a disappointing month, especially after a strong month in February with that Shudder drop. So it is April 2nd right now. I'm hoping that there is a new drop at Dollar Tree in my local community. And yeah, probably this video, I'm probably going to take a chance on a few movies that I normally would not take chances on. And then I'll do a review at the end of this video. All right, guys, let's see what Dollar Tree has to offer. All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the recap portion of the video. I am your host, Mr. Tight White, aka the Grey Poupon Don, aka the Physical Media Maniac. All right, let's go over the Goodwill pickups. And yes, you are riding with Tight White. We're gonna go over the Goodwill stuff first, and then we'll get into the Dollar Tree selection. All right, here we go. First up, pick this up for $1.99 with the slip cover, and this is factory sealed. Really cool. And this is a cult classic, Freeway.
Are you gonna fuck me when I'm dead? Mister, I'm a person. I'm a human being.
With our girl Reese Witherspoon, and we got our boy in here, Kiefer Sutherland. And yeah, I didn't really think of this when I watched the movie years back and rewatched it throughout the years, that it was kind of a retelling of the I was about to say Red Robin Hood. I'm thinking of Red Robin, the burgers. Little Red Riding Hood. I didn't know that it was like a retelling of it, but I can kind of see that in retrospect. But so anyway, this is a movie, like last video I told you guys, as far as genre is concerned, witch movies, rest stop movies, which are interchangeable with truck stop movies, right? Gas station horror and road horror. Might even want to throw fast food horror in there. Love those genres. Now, this is definitely a road horror film, I would say. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I watched this. By the way, this came out in 1996. This is a 90s film. And I think Reese Witherspoon was running away from her probation officer or something like that. Maybe her family abandoned her or something. She's turning tricks now. Maybe she was at a truck stop. She gets picked up by Kiefer Sutherland, and he's like this fancy, I don't know, doctor guy who's, you know, making fun of her, the way she talks, and she's just a country little hit girl. This is one of her best acting performances, in my opinion. Sundance Film Festival calls this a unique and galvanizing experience. It's got some hilarious moments in it. Kiefer Sutherland is an absolute, basically he picks her up. They're heading to go turn a trick somewhere, and he pulls a razor knife on her, and then it turns into a whole nother scenario. She finds out that he's going to rape and kill her, or maybe not in that order, if you know what I mean. And so she ends up, she's a little bit street smart. She's very, well, not, I was gonna say conniving, but she's very good. She handles herself well, and she's able to get a gun from him, and man, she starts blasting away. She shoots him like 5-6 times, leaves him for dead. I think she steals his wallet, and so that's the story. And he ends up surviving this. I think like half of his face is paralyzed. He is he's talking out of a voice box now. I don't know what they call that, a tracheonometry? No, I'm thinking of trigonometry. A tracheonomet? I don't know what the fuck. A voice box. That sounds a lot better. But anyway, he's talking out of one of those voice boxes that you, you know, when you smoke cigarettes your whole life, you'll see the old lady and she's like, yeah, thank you. You know, one of those things. So now he's a really creepy monster. His eyes like drooping and shit. And he's talking with that crazy voice and shit. Now he's trying to get revenge on Reese Witherspoon. This also has, which is really cool, it has, why am I forgetting her name? It is Reese Witherspoon. It has Brooke Shields. I think Brooke Shields is his jilted wife, Kiefer Sutherland's wife in the movie, if I remember correctly. Or maybe she's a probation officer. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen this. But yeah, man, a cult classic. I love this film. So good. And yeah, if you haven't seen this, man, where you been? This is one of the best road horror films ever made. Trigonometry? Trigonometry? I can't think of it. All right, I'm having a slow moment. I'm having a blonde moment, guys. All right, next up here, we have a really cool flick here, Bloody Murder 2.
You're not dealing with some Johnny-come-lately camp psychopath.
And this film right here is a straight rip-off of the Friday the 13th franchise. I am surprised that there was no lawsuits. There might have been lawsuits that I don't know about, because this one does not hide it. I mean, you can tell by that cover. I think recently we did a podcast ranking the Friday the 13th movies. It might have been last year at some point. But anyway, I remember watching all those, and I wanted more because the Friday the 13th series is so good. I started doing some research on the internet, and I found out, I looked for movies that were Friday the 13th clones, like a top 10 list or a top 25 list. And this is at the head of the pack right here, obviously because of the similarities, but also in quality. These are more of a comedic edge to them, but really cool kills in them. I think it had practical effects from what I remember. It's been a while since I've seen this one as well, but really fun, cheesy, schlocky action, man. I mean, this is one of those movies, man, you got to have in your horror collection if you're a slasher fan. And I have a multi-pack of, I think there's 3 movies in the franchise, so I have all 3 on a multi. I just wanted this one because it's the first time I've ever seen it out in the wild in an individual DVD case like this. So yeah, really cool cover. I'll read the synopsis, or at least some of it. It's been 5 years since Trevor Morehouse terrorized Camp Placid Pines, piling up bodies like it says cords of wood. I never heard that expression, cords of wood. But the new counselors must close the camp for the winter, and they are not alone. That's all I'll read. There's like 3 paragraphs on it. So this it doesn't do like Friday the 13th and try to do something different. It always goes back to the camp counselors every single movie, which I really like. And yeah, man, very cool flick. The killer is back to finish the job. If I remember correctly, I think this was better than the first one. Yeah, man. It's got the chapter selections in there. And the DVD has the same art as the cover. Very nice. And yeah, you can watch this. By the way, it's free on Tubi right now if you guys want to check it out. And next up, so I picked up another Masters of Horror movie from Goodwill. So I've been steadily picking these up. You've been following my channel, you know that I'm trying to collect a complete DVD collection of the Masters of Horror series that originated on Showtime. And you can buy the box sets. I think it's super expensive. I rather have the box set comes with like sleeves that keeps the DVDs in, which I don't like. I rather have the individual. So I am on the road to picking up every single one of these guys. This has George Wendt in it, and we'll get into the Dollar Tree stuff in a second. George Wendt is also in a movie called VFW. You can find that at your neighborhood Dollar Tree if you're lucky enough. It's been last month it was there. I think this month it's there as well. So pick that up. It's a really cool flick. Obviously, he's from Cheers, along with Ted Danson and what's the girl's name from Cheers? I'm forgetting her name now. Is it Shelley Long? I believe so. And then there's the other girl that has the cool eyes. But anyway, this is who is this from? What director? This is the director. This is John Landis, who obviously directed American Werewolf in London. This is written by Brent Hanley. That also sounds familiar as well. Don't know what that one's about, guys. Slasherpool.com says brilliant, disturbing, and refreshing. George Wendt gives an outstanding performance. Don't miss this. Looks like a suburbia. Looks like he's a cannibal. A cannibal in suburbia. How about that for a summary? All right, I think that's it for the Goodwill pickups. Tracheonometry? Why am I mixing that, whatever that is, the surgery with trigonometry? I don't know why. It's going to bother me the whole video now. Tracheotomy! I said it! Finally! All right, a movie that I just kind of threw in. This is the first dollar. Well, everything else is Dollar Tree pickups, guys. What you came here for. And this is the first time that I've seen this at Dollar Tree, so this might be in a new drop. I'm not sure. Maybe it was there in a past drop. Maybe it was there in March, and I just didn't notice it. Or not that I didn't notice it. I didn't find it. I didn't see it at my Dollar Trees. Echo Bridge release. This is a. So this is the story of Richard Kuklinski, who was a hitman for the mob. Now, I've been quoted saying this before. Ray Liotta's in this, and Ray Liotta is the guy who initially hires him. He's a mob boss. Ray Liotta, to me, you know, I feel like he gets his credit as an actor in general, but he does not get enough credit for being a bad guy. He's one of the best villains in any of any actor that I can think of. I just love him playing that villain role. He's great in this as the mob boss. I would love to see him be a serial killer. Actually, wait, he was in one of the Silence of the Lamb films, wasn't he? If I remember correctly, he was a cannibal in one of the later Silence of the Lambs films. I would love to see him as a hitman. Anything bad, he does so well. I don't know what he's just got an evil fucking look in his eyes, man. I really like Ray Liotta, so happy that he's in this. Michael Shannon is another actor. I feel like he gets a little too much praise sometimes, but he's a good actor. And so he's the hitman in this. I remember seeing a show called the Iceman tapes. It was on HBO. This had to be way back in the 90s. And somehow they got, HBO Films got a guy into the prison to do a prison interview with the real Richard Kuklinski, and after he's doing, you know, prison for life for many of the murders, because he killed, like, I don't know, tons of people. And so it was like I think it was a two-part, not a series, but it was a two-part documentary on HBO. I remember seeing the first one, and then maybe a year later, part 2 of that, and they called it the Iceman tapes. And you would see that guy Richard he would get angry at the interviewer, and you would see him just kind of snap, that look in his eyes. He's a big, opposing looking guy. He's like 6'4", 240, and he's got this killer look in his eyes, man. And yeah, I mean, he'll snap on you and friggin' snap your neck quick. So I remember some real eerie tension building moments in that interview. And yeah, it was a really cool documentary. I highly recommend you guys look that up and check out the Iceman tapes. But I think with this, like, much like kind of like The Soprano, where he has the home life, the same with this. I mean, he wasn't a mob guy. I think he was he's not Italian. He's like Polish. But anyway, he had that kind of like Tony Soprano. He had that, you know, he went to work and did all that bad shit, but then he went home and he was a good family man. That's kind of how he's portrayed that in this movie. I don't know if he was like that in real life, but yeah, very secretive. His family did not know anything about what he was doing out there. I think he told his wife that he worked for Disney, making editing animated films. I don't know if he kept that lie alive, but I know he said that to her on their first date, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I threw this in just to kind of refresh my mind on this. Didn't have enough time because I was trying to marathon all these movies to talk about them with you guys. But man, it's got I want to say that Winona Ryder was nominated for something in this. It's got Ray Liotta, like I said, Michael Shannon, James Franco. It's top heavy with some really good actors. And yeah, man, highly recommend it. It's got the Blu-ray and the DVD. No digital, otherwise I'd give it to you guys. And yeah, the Iceman. Good shit. All right, next up here. This is something, guys, I picked up for whenever I reach 400 subscribers. We're on the road to 500, guys, because I want to have a community page and start posting a lot of horror stuff on that community page. And I can't do that until I get to 500. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and so we can get to 500. We're at like 335 or something like that right now. So I picked this up because I already have it, only to give away in my 400 subscriber contest that'll be coming up very soon. So brand new, obviously, picked it up from Dollar Tree. If you want to watch the Barge People, you can watch this on Tubi right now. It's free. This is a 2018 film. I'll read the synopsis for you guys. I initially saw this on Shudder, by the way, the first time I saw it. A group of friends sets off for a relaxing weekend away on the canals of the glorious British countryside, unaware of the flesh-eating mutants lurking in the water. Ready and waiting for food, The Barge People is a highly entertaining and satisfying gory film. Starburst magazine is quoted as saying that. RLJE Films presents. We're going to see a lot of that RLJE. They have a lot of movies at Dollar Tree, and I'm impressed with some of their movies. It's been a minute since I've seen this, but I remember liking this. I thought it had some great practical effects in it. It's a gory flick. This couple is, I think it's like, yeah, it's like a home invasion of their boat, or boat invasion, and the people that invade their boat, can't remember if they rape his wife or something, but it's like, it's kind of like Hills Have Eyes, but on a boat. And then it has that element, but then it introduces like a swamp creature film into that home invasion or boat invasion. So it's a mixture of the two. And I remember liking this one, guys. I thought it was well done. A pure adrenaline ride. Entertainmentfocus.com. The Barge People. All right, so that's that. All right, so everybody that made Dollar Tree videos in March picked this up, I'm pretty sure, and I did not see it. I am back to work, so I have less time to hunt than I normally do, but I did go out on the weekends, and a few of the weekdays on the way home from work, I stopped at some Dollar Trees. Never could find this one. Everybody knows about this stupid, annoying fact that it says Panic on there instead of Satanic Panic. It's like, we make movies, or people are allowed to make movies, German films where guys are having sex with babies and stuff, and yet they can't put satanic on the cover of a movie. I just don't get it. It makes no sense. It's like ass backwards. It's like, you wouldn't think that that would be too big of a deal in 2022, but for some reason that word satanic is just it's worse than a guy having sex with a baby in what's the name of that movie? That I haven't even watched the movie. I don't even think I want to watch it. That German film. I can't think of the name of it. You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Satanic Panic. I mean, I watched this. I think I watched this on Amazon, if I remember correctly, and I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a cool flick. 2019 movie. And see if the slip. Nah, the case is the same as the slip. There's a lot worse things out there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't get it. I don't know why they have to put Panic on there. I think if you bought this at Walmart, it says Satanic Panic. I guess Dollar Tree has more morals. Dollar Tree of all people? I mean, come on. But yeah, I mean, this is a, so the young lady in this movie is a pizza delivery girl, and she delivers pizza. I don't know if this is her first delivery of the day, her last delivery of the night, but to this mansion, and no one answers the door, she pushes the door open, she walks in, and inside this large room, they are having a satanic meeting of the minds and about to do a, I guess it's a, obviously it's an occult. And she walks into the middle of this, and then all kinds of shit transpires from then on. This guy right here, I always love in movies. What is his name? Something McConnell. Is it Joey No, it's not Joey. You guys know who I'm talking about. McConnell. Let me see if I can see it on here. No, I'm not seeing it for some reason. But anyway, he's in the Piranha remake, and he's on the boat on a yacht with a glass bottom. He's sniffing cocaine off of a girl's breast. And I was about to say, not that I recommend that, but I don't know if I'm trying to be politically correct or whatever. I highly recommend that, okay?
They took my penis! They took my penis!
But anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. I thought this movie was fun, man. It was a good flick. It's one of the better movies that came out in 2018. Cool flick. I probably did a terrible job of explaining that. But yeah, pizza delivery girl goes into a mansion, and there's a satanic... what the hell am I trying to say? They're doing a ritual, like a satanic ritual. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, now let's get into some of the movies that I rolled the dice on. I didn't really roll the dice on this one because it had good reviews, and we'll go over these two. Actually, let's go over the ones that I did not roll the dice on. So we have Crown Vic, which I'm guessing Crown Victoria is a police car. That's why that's called this. 2019 film distributed by Screen Media Films. The movie is very similar, guys, to Training Day. And so Thomas Jane is the veteran cop in this. There's a rookie cop. I don't really know what he's been in, so I'm not going to mention his name. So it's the first day of training. They're in a police car. It's exactly like Training Day, but without Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. It's replaced by Thomas Jane. If you don't know who Thomas Jane is, he was in Deep Blue Sea, Boogie Nights. He was Mickey Mantle in 61, and he was also the lead character in The Mist, the Stephen King adaptation. So, very well-known actor. By the way, this is free on Tubi right now, and this movie is about 2 hours long. And the problem with this movie is, listen, it's not a bad movie, and I'm not saying that the storyline is exactly like Training Day, but the whole structure of the movie is exactly like Training Day. And it runs a little bit long. It's about 2 hours long. And the problem with a movie like Training Day, or trying to be like Training Day, is Training Day is I would call it a classic, and it's just not as good as Training Day. Would I recommend this movie? Yeah, I would recommend it. If you love a good cop movie, veteran rookie cop movie, this is a decent flick, something to definitely pick up for $1.25 at $1.25 Bush. But it just, I don't want to say it yeah, I guess it does. It pales in comparison to Training Day, because Training Day was so damn good. Obviously, Training Day had as well Snoop Dogg in it. It had Dr. Dre in it, if I remember correctly, and it had Exhibit in it. It had a bunch of rappers in there. So yeah, man, it's it had, obviously it had different side stories to it and stuff. And some of them were interesting. Some of them were kind of like, what are we doing here? But I enjoyed it for what it was. All right, I need a sip of coffee. Trachea something. What is it called? Trachea. It's going to bother me when I remember what it is after the video's shot. All right, we have a movie that I have seen before, and it's called Galveston. Now, I actually, now that I work again, I actually work in Galveston. So it was a no-brainer to pick this up, to be able to see. I would be pissed off if I found out that this wasn't actual, that they didn't film this in Galveston. I'm going to need to do some fucking research, and if I will throw this in the fucking trash if they did not film this in Galveston. They called it Galveston. I would be pissed off. But I'm pretty sure they did. I like the actor in it, man. What's the girl's name? Fanning is in this. Let me see. Ellie Fanning, she's good in it. And Ben Foster, he's been in some good movies, man. I like Ben Foster as an actor. Hell or High Water is something he did recently that I really liked. That had Jeff Bridges in it, if I remember correctly. And I think for this, he does hits for the mob as well. Or he does hits for some crime boss. And he gets double-crossed somehow. Now that crime family's after him to kill him. And he meets this girl, Ellie, and they go off, try to escape from getting killed by these people to Galveston, of all places. So apparently he likes beaches that are not as nice as Florida beaches. Nah, I mean, listen, Galveston's a cool place, man. I lived in Florida for 12 years, so I was used to that blue water. And when I moved back home, I was like, oh God, these beaches are so nasty. The water's so brown. But Galveston's a cool place, man. There's a lot of tradition there. There's a lot of cool spots in Galveston, a lot of cool places to eat. And the place that I work at is beautiful, man. It's a beautiful facility that's right on the water. And the water looks blue on some of the days, believe it or not, which it all has to do with the current and stuff like that. I mean, it drags the mud up from the bottom. Some kind of, that's why it's dirty. I don't know. It's kind of complex to explain I don't know exactly the theory behind it, but for whatever reason, it has to do with the sand getting drug up from the bottom. That's why the water seems brown at times. But I've looked out, man, from the top of our building at the water, and some days it looks a lot bluer than I remember growing up as a kid. So this is a good movie, man. I remember this. I remember liking this. Galveston with the slip. All right, all three of these movies I rolled. Oh no, all four of these movies I rolled the dice on. All right, so this is the last movie that I watched, guys. This is Xenophobia.
You are all chosen.
And I was kind of surprised that no one ever came up with that name before. Everybody remembers the arcade game. Well, if you're old enough, you remember the arcade game Xenophobe. I remember playing that at the arcades when I was a kid, and then later on it was ported to a video game console. But this is an alien encounter abduction anthology, which I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this that had to do with alien encounters, abductions, that was turned into an anthology. And basically what this is there's this alien encounter abduction help group that the movie centers around, and there's a wrap around with that, right? And then each person in the health group has their story of how they encountered aliens or were abducted by aliens. So that's how you get these segments or these side stories in the overall wraparound, if that makes any sense. This was one of the very few movies that I almost turned off 10 minutes into it. I was like, I'm just going to tell you guys I hated the movie, and that's going to happen every once in a while. I don't have to brave or tough every movie out. Some of the movies are going to suck so bad, especially if you're getting the movies from Dollar Tree. But I'm not going to lie, even though this is very student filmish, this anthology, I feel like some blood, sweat, and tears were put into this. And I felt like this was a labor of love. And I felt like there was even a couple, I think there was like 5 stories. There was even a couple that I liked. And there was one that I thought was pretty damn good, actually. I'll tell you about the one that I thought was pretty damn good, all right? So one of the stories had this place out in the middle of the woods. It was like a housing for abused women are battered and bruised by their husbands or boyfriends, right? And it starts with them, I guess, rescuing this lady. I don't know, she knocks on the door or they find her or whatever, but she's there. She's in the living room and she's telling them, oh, he's not normally like this. He just had a bad week, and kind of making up every excuse for her husband or boyfriend. And the lady's like, consoling her, saying, don't worry, we're going to take care of you here. Then they show another room where it's got like 4 or 5 girls. By the way, they all have like the breast hanging out, wearing tight shirts and stuff. And they got this guy duct taped to a chair, and they're beating the shit out of him. They're taking scissors and they're cutting like the middle of his nose. They're running sewing needles through his fucking legs. They're torturing the shit out of him and saying, oh yeah, are you staring at us? You want to rape us? They're talking shit to him, and because he beat up his girlfriend, and they're gonna torture, possibly kill him. They don't know at first, but they're really doing the guy bad. The next thing you know, they're talking to him, and he's like, I work for this alien, this company that is, or maybe he says he works for the government, and they work with trying to find aliens and trying to discover, alien artifacts or whatever. I mean, it's something about aliens and stuff, the job he has. And all of a sudden he starts to say stuff. I don't know why he doesn't just say it, which is a little bit aggravating. My girlfriend's a fucking alien. But he just starts saying, watch out for the other girl that's in there. Tell her to come back in there. She's been too long in there with my wife. You don't understand. There's something bad going to happen. He keeps on hinting that something bad's going to happen or whatever. Well, what it turns out is, all of a sudden she turns into a full bloom alien, and she starts eating people and killing them, and it's actually done pretty well, man. I gotta admit, man, the special effects on it are nice. It's funny. There's a lot of hilarious scenes in these little segments, but there's one that has this ridiculous looking alien. I mean, you can't take it seriously. They did the best job they could, but it's literally like a creature that you would see in the video game, like Xenophobia, brought to life in like a real setting, and it's like crawling on the ground. It looks so ridiculous, and that alien ends up eating a baby, and the mother crawls into the room after, and you can see like the baby's leg in this monster's mouth, and this alien's mouth going into the mouth. So it just finished eating the baby, and and the lady says, "Not my baby." It's so funny. But yeah, I thought this was going to be, like I said, I was going to turn this one off. Is this shelf worthy? It's so borderline, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but fuck it, I'm going to keep it, man, because I don't know of any anthology alien movie ever created besides this one, so it's kind of one of a kind. All right. All right, so I don't ever remember seeing this at Dollar Tree, so if you want sci-fi greatness here, guys, because this is exactly what this is. I'm sure every one of these movies, Spiders 2 and Spiders 3D, at some point in time were on the Sci-Fi Channel. Now, here's something very interesting about these films, guys. I only watched Spiders, but I hear that Spiders 3 is the one to watch out of all of these. I heard Spiders 2 is worse than the first movie, so Spiders 3 is something I look forward to watching. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. But here's the deal with these movies, guys. The first movie was directed by Gary Jones. Gary Jones directed Crocodile 2, Death Swamp. So there's some pedigree right there, guys. He also directed Mosquito, which is a 1994 film that, after reading about it, I am going to buy off of Amazon. I want to see this film. I heard that's pretty iconic. And he also just made a new movie called Escape from Cell Block 13 that has this guy who looks identical to Charles Bronson. Obviously, Charles Bronson's dead now. Rest in peace to the man. But I think that's why this guy is starting to be like this big thing. There's a lot of talk about him. And this Escape from Cell Block 13, which has him in it, that he's looking just like Charles Bronson. That's kind of his thing, to look like Bronson, to make you think that he's Bronson, or maybe he's like the son of Bronson. I don't know. But I don't know if they're connected at all, but I think that's what the directors are playing on, that he looks so much like them that people will watch his movies. So I am interested in checking out Escape from Cell Block 13. The next movie, Spiders 2, is directed by Sam Furstenberg. He directed American Ninja movies. He directed the American Ninja movies that are pretty iconic, right? And he also directed Avenging Force, so the one thing that all those movies have in common is Michael Dudikoff. And then the third film, Spiders 3D, listen to this, was directed by Tibor Takix. And he directed The Gate 1 and The Gate 2. So it's like, holy shit, they got some pretty good directors to direct these movies. Now, Spiders, guys, it has an absolutely ridiculous story. I had to do some research just to understand what the hell was going on, because I was going to tell you guys it is stupid, to be honest with you, but some nerd, like, literally spent a lifetime, like, researching the first movie and, like, could tell you details on it that are not even expressed in the movie. I'm going to be honest with you. So they're like, I think NASA is in this movie, or like they're portraying that it's NASA, and the space shuttle is like in space, or I think it's like coming down back into the Earth's atmosphere. And for some reason, they are doing an experiment with a tarantula and alien DNA in a syringe, and they're shooting the needle into a spider while they're in the space shuttle. Like, why would they do it at that time? And then when I was watching afterwards, the guy was explaining, the guys who built like a website about the spiders, says that because the aliens can only survive in zero atmosphere conditions, that the DNA of the alien would only work in the spider. It's fucking stupid. I mean, come on. But anyway, something about they're trying to create like an unstoppable force for the military. I don't know if they're giant spiders or the spiders bite the humans after and they become, I don't know. I don't understand any of it. But so anyway, a solar flare hits the rocket or the space shuttle, and all hell breaks loose. The spider pops out of their hands. Now you have the floating spider inside of the capsule, and it's like biting people. People's faces are like pulsating with bumps and stuff, and then it crashes, okay? And then all of a sudden this like Men in Black type of group is there, and there's one guy who's a bad guy who like shoots a doctor for saying that he's going to uncover what they're doing here or something, and so he's the evil character. And then there's a guy who works for him that actually has a good heart, and there's this not private investigator, but a girl who works for the newspaper, and she's writing a story on this whole thing, and so she becomes part of it. The first like 45 minutes of it, you're like, this is straight bullshit. But once the spider becomes large, and I can't even explain to you how it becomes large. I think it like puts something inside of you when it bites you, and then at one point a spider is busting out of someone's mouth and their face, and it becomes larger. It's very strange. But once they get to this underground facility, the movie actually becomes good. Now, this thing, at this point, is the size of like a human being when it's chasing him underground and stuff. And I started enjoying the movie a lot, man. There's a lot of cool scenes in it. And after they break out of this underground facility and they get out into the main street where there's like people and cars and stuff, by this time, this thing is it's like 30 feet fucking tall. Then it's a full-blown fucking sci-fi creature feature. It's eating cars. It's putting its two like fangs and ripping open the tops of cars. It's fucking awesome. So I really look forward to seeing Spiders 3D. I'm gonna check it out tonight. I'm checking out Spiders 2 now that I know that Sam Furstenberg directed that film as well. And I remember when I was the first 30 minutes of watching this, the first movie, I was thinking to myself, man, this is not gonna be shelf worthy. I was crazy for thinking that, guys. This is definitely shelf worthy. If you like creature features, make sure you go to your local Dollar Tree and see if you can pick this one up. All three of these movies right now, guys, are free on Tubi. Just saying. All right, this video might run an hour, man. I'm talking like a mother. All right, let's go over this one because this one is not making the shelf. I'll just go ahead and spoil it right now. This is a 2019 film distributed by Uncorked Entertainment. It's directed by Matt Green, who did the special effects for the Angry Video Game Guy, the movie. Just a random side note. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As I watch the movie, it's I still don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But anyway, the stepdad in this movie is, and by the way, this is also an anthology as well. Now, the stepdad that's in the wraparound of the main story is the main guy from Gremlins, Billy. So I thought that was pretty cool. Plays a real small role in it, you know, in the wraparound. But yeah, this is an anthology, and basically this is centered around a guy who has an antique store full of dolls and you know, little figures and stuff. And yeah, so each time that he you know, sells someone like a troll or a doll or whatever, there's another story to that. And I mean, some of them are okay. I think there's 3 stories. It's not a terrible movie by any means, but it's just I just don't feel like it's shelf worthy for me. It's obviously a B movie. It's a low budget movie. I have no problem with B movies if they're done well, but this one just didn't hit the mark for me. Did not hit the mark for me, guys. And that is Evil Little Things. Yeah, Zach Galligan is the guy from Gremlins. I mean, one of the stories was kind of cool, I guess, where this one lady got killed, or not killed, she got scarred badly in a fire. It burned like part of her face. And one of her dolls also got burned in the fire. And so she's like very worried about her look. She's very, she's not confident. She wants to stay in the house as a shut-in all the time. And her doll starts talking to her saying, "I think you're pretty." And her doll's like burned up as well. And her doll doesn't want her to have any friends, no boyfriend. And so all of a sudden she falls in love with this guy, and the doll starts to control things and starts to get revenge. Let's just put it to you that way. I thought that one was done pretty well. The others I could do without. Not shelf worthy for me, guys, but I don't know. I think maybe there's possibly someone out there that might enjoy that one. All right, the last movie here we have is High Moon. Now, looking at the cover of this, I just knew this was going to be shit. This is a movie that I did not think in a million years that I would enjoy. Well, I was wrong, guys. So you see the slip there. Now we'll just leave that off. So this is a 2019 release, also known as Howlers. By the way, 2 cool names. I think that High Moon is a cool name for a flick. Yeah, another movie was named that, so maybe that's why they have 2 names. High Moon obviously plays off of High Noon, because this is a werewolf Western movie. And I also like the movie Howlers, the name Howlers. I think that's a cool name as well. Now, very interestingly, there's a DC web-based comic series about werewolves that has the same name, High Moon. So I don't know if that's related. I did some research and could not tie the two together, but for some reason, it's just too much of a coincidence. I think even that web series has a Western theme to it, for it not to have something related. Now, this movie right here totally reminds me of Dark Watch, the video game, on the PS2. I think it came out on the Xbox as well. All you have to do is replace, and Dark Watch is a first-person shooter game where you're killing vampires. All you have to do is replace the werewolves with vampires, and this is Dark Watch. I mean, this is a perfect thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Play a couple of hours of Dark Watch on your PS2 or your backwards compatible PS3 or your Xbox or your, I think Xbox, can't remember if Dark Watch is a compatible game, a backwards compatible game. It might be on your Xbox One as well, or Xbox 360. So play the game and then throw in this movie. You will not be mad at me at all. So all that being said, I do admit the first scene in the movie where it has the main protagonist, which is this Western gunslinger, he's going up against a gang of these werewolf gunslingers. And when I first see them transform, now they don't transform full bore into werewolves with 4 legs, but they transform like, I guess, halfway, so their faces change. They're literally wearing masks that you could buy at Party City. That's what I initially, it was pretty cheesy when the beginning of it, I was like, oh God, I'm in a lot of trouble here. But this thing gets so much better as you go along, and the actual concept behind the movie is really dope. I'm not gonna lie. This has interdimensional ninjas in it as well, or a ninja, not plural, ninja one. So the main protagonist kills this gang of werewolves in the beginning of the movie, right? And after he does that, all of a sudden you see this ninja, and basically they say, okay, your job is done. He kneels down to the ninja like it's his master, and the ninja puts a sword right through him and kills him. He's dead. Okay, that's back in the 60s or whatever. Now, let's go to modern day. All of a sudden, modern day happens, and washing up on a riverbed in this little country town, the same town, I think they renamed it, is, let's see how many minutes I got left. Oh, I got plenty. All right, so all these coffins, because he buried every single one of the werewolves with coffins that he built by hand before he was killed by the ninja. And I know, the story sounds ridiculous, right? So all these coffins wash up, and he washes up as well. But the werewolves are all gone from the coffins, and there's a dead fisherman there. So the police find that, and one of the ladies in the film finds him, and she's attracted to him and wants to help him or whatever. So she takes him in, heals him up and stuff, and then it starts the story of him trying to explain to her, and then later on the police, that he's from the 1860s, and there's werewolves that are about to kill everybody, and he's got to stop them. And there's a lot of funny, good one-liners in this, a lot of funny stuff in this. Probably the best parts of this movie is him in modern day, the main protagonist, and him getting into the vehicle with the girl, because the girl, after she heals him up, says, where do you want me to take him? She gives him guns and stuff, and he dresses up in her boyfriend's, her dead boyfriend's Western gear and stuff, and they're in the vehicle together. He's like, what is this? Oh, she's like, oh, these are like horses, but nowadays they're made of metal. These are cars. And he's like, oh man, wow. He can't believe it. He's so shocked about this vehicle because it's from the 1800s. So she's like, where do you want to go? And he says, well, take me to a saloon. And she's like, a saloon? You mean like a bar? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, why do you want to go to a bar? And he's like, well, how else am I going to get information on finding these guys? And she's like, the internet? So I thought that was hilarious how it plays upon the fact that he's from the 1860s, and now there's internet, there's cars. Dude, the coolest thing about this flick is werewolves on fucking choppers, man. So what happens is when the graves wash up, or when their coffins wash up, they kill the fishermen. Then all of a sudden it shows this biker gang in this little setup, and then across the field you see these werewolves in human form, by the way, and they're jumping the fence and they're heading towards this huge biker gang. So they end up fighting, and they kill the biker gang and literally like shred them into little bitty pieces and stuff, which is a little bit far-fetched because there's no full moon. It's daytime. How the fuck are they turning into werewolves? But plot hole there. But chop them up into little pieces, eat their hearts, pull their hearts out, eat their hearts. It's fucking insane. And now they have choppers. So it's cool how they were cowboy outlaws back in the old days, and now they're a biker gang full of werewolves, man. Really, really cool. I like that. Another side note, Dark Watch, the video game, was developed by, guess who? High Moon Studios. There's too many fucking coincidences about this movie. By the way, this is free on Tubi right now. There's lots of different drama in this movie and side stories. I thought the action sequences are done pretty good. And, yeah, man. A Western werewolf fucking movie, man. Pleasantly surprised by this one. This is definitely a shelf-worthy addition to the old collection. And, yeah, I'll put this next to the other werewolf movies on my shelf. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for checking out the video, and good luck out there finding whatever physical media makes you happy. And yeah, I'm out of here, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.